What's going on, YouTube? This is Squids, and we are here today to do another two-parter Chain Soldier review because Squids has terrible schedule timing. But to say the least, we're here and we are ready to talk about this. And with me, as always, for these reviews, we've got Mr. Etchy over here. Uh, how
The itchy man.
Itchy man, the man himself. We've just decided that he's like an omniscient presence of Etchy. So
Omnipotent, omniscient. I don't even know what we're trying to say.
um he is
I'm
the
like,
all-seeing Etchy eye.
I like to look at anime movies, guys.
Yeah, and this is the perfect series to do that with.
Yeah.
So
Got them anime titties.
yeah. What did you before we get too delved into this, what did you think of episode 4 as a whole here?
So episode 4 as a whole, I liked it. I mean, they came in swinging like they did with the last couple episodes. I really do think that this series as a whole is on the uptick. And episode 4 actually leads into episode 5, which episode 5 was something I was excited for. So,
And then it
yeah,
looks like episode 5 is going to lead into episode 6.
fair enough, fair enough. But once we delve into the facts, or anyone who's actually watched or read this, they'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, come on.
Because, like, yeah, it definitely feels like it's like almost I mean, it is, but like a little mini tournament arc in the middle of our Etchy show.
And I love me a tournament arc. If you guys watch the Squids podcast, or even I think like the first episode of this, I talk about Dragon Ball Z, so you know I love my tournament arcs, because there's like 3 or 4 in there at least.
Yeah. At least. So
yeah.
this episode starts off, and let's be honest here, I've got a little bit of going on here, but for this episode, like I said, I'm mostly letting the Etchy man take over his reins on this show. But it starts off.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off, with Tenka and Squadron 6 talking with obviously Squadron 7, pretty much how they have these threats, obviously, and they're getting stronger and stronger with the Oba? Was it Oba?
Humanoid Shuki.
The humanoid
Yeah,
Shuki.
Oba, the humanoid Shuki.
Yes, and discussing pretty much, how they're going to take care of this because obviously they didn't exactly do come dressed to impress in that last fight.
I don't know. I like their outfits.
Well, physically, yes, but
So yeah, they're kind of discussing it over coffee how they should proceed with this, and I can't remember if it was Tenka or Uzin who brought up the fact that they should try to team up and work on this together. But about this scene is you start to get more of a grip on the sisters' relationships with each other, Himuri and Yachiho.
yeah, Chiho, yeah, and it almost
You
feels
start,
like you can definitely tell the tension between the two of them like right off the bat.
yeah, and you get to see this through the fact that she makes these snide comments and stuff towards her, being like, well, I wouldn't have fainted in battle, you brought shame to our family, telling you that their family is sort of more important, heavily on that sort of, like, I would compare her family to, like, the stereotypical samurai family type of thing. That sort of, well, it's that sort of cliche, you brought dishonor to the family by falling in battle, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's totally what I get too, and because Himari, she's the youngest sibling, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
because I think yeah, Chiho is the older one, and I know like pretty much while these two are having that gripe and little piss fight about that, Uzun pretty much comes up and says, we should probably like test out each other's abilities, and she's just like, you know what, how about we just have a little exhibition fight.
She doesn't say fight though, because this part's fucking hilarious. Yuki's dumbass is sitting over there thinking, baseball? What? We're gonna play some baseball?
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, she does say match, not fight, because like, yeah, these people, especially our poor little slave boy, he's not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree. But to be fair, he just kind of showed up recently, so it's not like he knows about these like actual
And,
exhibition matches and shit.
and furthermore, he was pretty much just dragged into it because of her ambitions for the most part. Like, yeah, he's got his own thing going on, as we've talked about. He wants to be the hero, but it very much is Uzun's ambition to become like the supreme commander that he's dragged into this whole situation.
Yeah, and doesn't freaking, if I remember right, doesn't like Nay actually like lower him down to tell him what the hell these matches actually are? Mrs.
Yeah,
Encyclopedia herself.
yep, she definitely does.
And she definitely
Um,
does.
and you kind of get to see in this scene too. You kind of get to see Tenka's sort of infatuation with Yuki. Let's call it that for now. With
Yeah,
him, with like her noticing things about him, like, oh, he's a good little slave. I'd like to make him my slave sometime. He make a good slave.
are you insinuating that all these girls are just really horny?
I'm insinuating that all these girls are just really horny. Like, it's edgy. They're all horny all the time.
that that
But
that
so
must be where that single combat comes from.
yeah, so in this situation, Hamuri realizes that she's gonna need kind of like a edge in battle against her sister because they were raised together, and she really wants to beat her sister, become that hero like the commander is. Um, so she actually asks the commander to borrow Yuki and his abilities, and that we kind of get explained. I think it's a little later in the episode. I don't think it's directly at this point in the episode, but we get explained that Hamuri's powers are essentially to copy other people's powers, but with a handicap for the most part. So she doesn't really she's not just the gun hands girl. She probably more than likely borrowed this gun hands power from someone else. There's probably someone else who can turn themselves into literally like the gun devil from Chainsaw Man, and she decided to borrow that person's powers and kind of uses that one because that works the best for her. And it's even explained too that if she were to like try to borrow Shushu's powers, you know, her tits would just get bigger. Like that's what it is. That's literally what it is. I think she literally says like I would only go up like 2 cup sizes if I use paradigm shift.
Yeah, no, she totally does. Like that's definitely something she says. And it's like, oh, okay.
What I thought was really cool though is within this whole thing of her deciding to borrow Yuki, we get to see Yuki in a new form, his whirlwind form, which I honestly think looks better than his form that he has with Uzun.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, obviously I haven't read the source material or anything, but I didn't realize that he was going to actually have a different style with a different master. But I guess in reality, that kind of makes sense because, you have a different, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily aura, but um,
Um,
uh,
connection.
connection. Yeah, we'll go with connection and power reference. So I mean, it makes sense completely to me, but it definitely shocked me. Like I wasn't expecting it, so that was a good shock. I'll take that.
It was, and I do like. So you kind of get to see the trade-offs. Like Yuki in his whirlwind form is a lot faster, but he doesn't hit as hard. So he's got to figure out kind of sort of how to attack in this form because he's so used to his form with Uzun, where he just he's a powerhouse, he can punch a Shuki and kill it in one hit, but like, oh, I'm super fast, but this Shuki takes multiple hits to kill, so they got to sort of figure that out, and then we get like a nice panty shot.
Yeah.
Because obviously we see whirlwind form because, Hamuri decides that she's, going to be his master, and we all know what happens when you got to be someone's master. There's rewards. So yeah, the ecchi scene now, because we're about to that point. The first ecchi scene of the fucking actual episode for real.
Yeah.
So
And like, yeah,
they
it's
they
absolutely
do their
hilarious.
training, which is cool,
Yup.
but fucking Uzin explains to Hamuri that there is a great physical demand when using her power, but she doesn't elaborate any further. So she has no idea what's coming up for her. And fucking she trains with Yuki using the power, trying to get a feel for it and all that. And he transforms back. So then we get her just involuntarily lifting up her skirt to show him her panties. And it's fucking hilarious. And they start talking about the reward, and he's like, "This must be my reward." And she's like, "Oh, that's what she meant by physically demanding." And fucking, isn't this reward enough for you? And then fucking just like, how's this for a reward? And just literally fucking shoves her crotch on Yuki's face. It's glorious, honestly.
It's yeah, that's
Glorious. In
it's
fact, in my notes here, I referenced it as coochie on face.
well, there's nothing else you could reference it as. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, vagina is just too vulgar, you
yeah,
know. Coochie on face.
and don't forget, on the way to training, they took the 2000s military edition Ford Escort, as always.
As always. I mean, it wouldn't be an episode without that, except for the next episode doesn't have that. So it would be an episode without that. But like, we'll imagine that the next episode has that.
It,
So
it it's recharging.
After this, you kind of get a moment between Hamuri and Yuki where Yuki sort of figures out Hamuri's goals, how she wants to be her sister. We brushed on this a little earlier, but she wants to be a hero like the commander. But this is really like the first time you ever see her actually start to open up to Yuki, which is kind of cool,
Yeah,
It's not
especially
like full open up. She's still kind of a bitch to him, but like,
yeah, I was gonna say especially for how she treats him most of the series as a male that doesn't deserve any respect. Period.
yeah. And then because of the difference in power between Uzin and Hamuri's versions of Yuki, they decide they need a finishing move, a final flash, if I do say so. So they start working on that, and they start to realize, they start to realize, like, let's use our speed. Oh, let's focus on certain parts of our body and put our energy and strength into that. It's a great whole little training montage. And during this whole time, Uzin usually rides Yuki. This is kind of important.
Yes.
Hamuri's not riding Yuki. She's just kind of giving him demands from the sideline and shit like that. Uzin comes up and is like, the connection between slave and master, you see how we work together, right? We're bonded. I control him by his chain, all that other stuff. That shtick. And you kind of learn a little bit more about how Uzin's power works in that situation. That's like their connection with each other. That's what really bonds them together. And we finally get to see her jump on Yuki's back, and then there's a training montage.
It's just
And
like
then there's a.
It's like a freaking Rocky movie, man.
It is. He's punching the meat, he's beating the meat, and he's probably beating the meat because his next reward is going to be a full titty shot. Glorious breasts on Hamuri, by the way. Glorious fucking breasts. Like, let's put that out there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna like deny that. And then,
I'm
well,
still gonna say I'd rather see shoes.
that's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that one because I know, isn't she's your favorite, so I mean, yeah, everybody has their favorites, but you also have to have your bias wrecker on the side. You always got to come
Yeah,
prepared, you know.
yeah, but to be fair, Shushu's got some tiggle bitties. Like that's why I would rather see them. But
Yeah.
Murray's are nice.
Oh yeah. You can't go wrong with them. And then, if I remember,
Yeah,
when they're trying to come up with a good like finisher move, does she describes pretty much what her sister's power is to him.
yeah. She sort of gets into that the whole time stop, rewind sort of power that she's got. But I think it's probably best for us to cover that more as it comes up.
True, but
Because
I'm,
yeah, that
I'm
was that was some good shit.
yeah. I just remember like slightly her discussing it when he's trying to come up with a finisher move, but
Yeah,
like
you
not like
know,
into like huge detail, obviously, which the next episode's gonna
yeah. So
show. But
yeah, it really is. So then you get the full tit reward that reinvigorates Yuki. Like he literally says, "I feel reinvigorated," and he's ready to train more. That's literally what happens, guys.
yeah, and he goes to gym
But
day and he gets those massive quad thighs or calves, not thighs.
exactly, it's like so you see all those TikToks with people huffing fucking smelling salts. It's like that, but with titties.
That's like actually one of the
And
best
so then
comparisons I've ever heard.
so then we get to exhibition day, and we're at the beginning of exhibition day, so it's before any of the exhibitions actually start. And we see Hamuri and Shushu taking a bath together. That's a good scene. There's some tit in there. It's nice. I like it. But the thing I really like about that scene is fucking Sahara's big old titties. Because Sahara is a member of the Six Squad, and oh my god,
Yeah,
does she
she's
got some big knockers. I think they even comment on it.
yeah, she just falls asleep in the fucking bed in the onset and just fucking passed out within like
So
10
like,
seconds.
so out of the people we've seen from Six Squad now, so Tenka, Yauchi, and fucking Sahara.
Yes.
Sahara's probably my second favorite because I think that her whole falling asleep everywhere thing is kind of fucking cute. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Plus Tiggle bitties, and her hair for some reason reminds me of slime.
Could you imagine your whole
I don't know why.
personality trait just being based on falling asleep everywhere?
Yes. No, I can't actually because that's narcolepsy, and I don't have narcolepsy, so I can't even imagine it. But anyway, so we see them in the bath, and then it sort of switches to the arena that they're going to be fought in, and we get introduced to the Mato Annihilation Squad, is what I'm going to call them today because I can't remember their name. Um, their whole like massive fangirl,
Oh
the
yeah,
ref,
the ref. Yes.
Gina, I think. Gina, Gina, I don't fucking know. It's all a foreign language to me. It's almost like it's in Japanese or something.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
That's crazy how that works. But we get introduced to her, and yeah, she's like a straight fucking super fan and straight up fucking hates dudes, like even worse than fucking Hamuri does. Like Yuki goes to say hi to her, and she's just like, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't even acknowledge him. Like, sour ass face.
She's the opposite of Jury from Yu Yu Hakusho. The girl that just
But
can't get it.
anyway, so her power is
No, you're good.
the girl that just can't get enough.
Yeah, and this girl
but
can.
so her power is essentially to erect a barrier, and then she ability is to heal people. and within her barrier, what would be a fatal blow will not be a fatal blow, and she'll just end up healing him back to full health. So that's kind of that, and that's sort of where the episode ends. I mean, we see the beginning square off for the fight, but we don't get to see the fight yet.
Yeah, and like it's kind of weird. Like, yeah, you have to like write your name on like this board, and if you don't write your name on the
Yeah,
board, you like it the effect doesn't matter, and you'll probably just fucking die.
yeah, that was a little weird,
like it's got to be
but
like, but I mean, I guess
like I thought it was still kind of cool.
yeah, I mean, there's always got to be some type of loophole, you know. Like, I don't know if that comes into fruition at some point in the future, because isn't the Gina, isn't she from she said 10th squad, I believe. And I don't know exactly,
I
obviously, how many squads we end up needing in the future, but
So I'll tell you right now, from what I remember, these are the only 2 squads so far that we've met, and then a member from the 3rd squad, and then the reconnaissance squad that we saw earlier
okay,
in the
yeah,
anime.
obviously don't want to get
So
too far into
that's as
spoilers,
far as
but
I remember. That's yeah, but that's about as many as I remember at the moment. But we're fucking not even like. The anime pretty much has, not the anime, but the manga's got me at a cliffhanger right now. So, like, that
oh,
tells you how much more we got going, you know.
I was gonna
And
say, so
then,
yeah, that's pretty much episode 4, honestly. Like,
well, so we do get to see Brand Breaker.
we do.
Is that what it's called?
It's
Brand Break?
isn't it oh, it's not time break, it's fuck.
I think it's Brand Break.
I'm gonna trust your word on this one.
I swear it's Brand Break. I should have written it down. But essentially, it's the special move that they had come up with, the finisher move, and it's a really, really, really quick attack where it pretty much uses its speed, and he shifts his strength into his hand. We talked about focusing strength into a body part earlier. He shifts his strength into his hand and delivers one massive speedy fucking punch. And then we get to see fucking pretty much her sister almost fucking die. And then she uses her ability.
Yeah, she
And
uses
we'll
her.
talk more about this because it does repeat in episode 2. Not episode 2, but the second episode we're covering today. I think that's number 5.
It is
But
number 5, yep.
so
Yeah,
yeah, episode number 5 starts off pretty nice.
yeah, it's like it's one of the
I mean,
best.
you seemed pretty excited about it earlier when we were talking, so why don't you tell them about it?
So, okay, I didn't know how this episode was really going to start, because obviously going into the last episode, you'd expect it to go straight into a fight. And then like, well, that's not quite how it starts. The first thing you get to see is a nice pair of green and white striped panties getting pulled the hell up. You get a boob adjustment, and coincidentally, it's
Mm,
from your 2 favorite girls of the show. Both shots.
yes.
And then
The
you
Tiggle Bitty twins.
yeah, and then you get a nice rear view of Himari and a front view, but no nudity from her. But the other, it's a very generous scene to start an episode out with. Like, there's just
It's some good fucking fan service right off the fucking gate.
like, they weren't even freaking playing around. And this is like definitely almost like a prequel to the fight scene, where you have Himari actually asking Sahara if her sister's done any training before this fight, and like she just kind of gives this like, nothing different really. Like this
It's almost like
it's
it flashes forward at the end of the last episode and then flashes back to right before the end of the last episode at the beginning of the next one. It's weird how they laid this out.
yeah,
I will
it's
admit that.
I don't know why they did it that way, but I mean, it is what it is. And like, I think actually I know why they did it that way. It's because of
The
what was
fan service.
the fan service, and I also feel like it's because of how this episode ends. Maybe
Fair enough.
they kind of feel like that's probably the best place to put it at this point. And like
So
even the condescending quote that her sis or Shushu gives, like, yeah, your sister's not really expecting that much from you then. Like, oh,
yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna full on say it since this is the first fight. There's not too much to talk about because we can talk about them trading blows day in and day out, but like pretty much what we got to talk about is kind of the strategy and the sisters' powers at this point.
right, because yeah, from this episode, yeah, like you said, that's the only crappy part about fighting episodes is like you can talk about it, but in the end, it's like it is what it is. So pretty much, yeah, you've got that time break move where she literally, like you said, goes back 5 seconds, and like I know
And
they
it's
they
called golden.
yes, golden hour, and
And she got to do a pose.
yeah, she does this like Ginyu Force pose.
Honestly, it reminds me of Data Live. What's her nuts? Who fucking controls time with her guns?
Oh yeah, I could see
Because it's
that.
very reminiscent. It's very reminiscent of a clock pose.
Yeah, yeah, or yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And like a lot of like the only like I know they kind of talk about it a little later in the fight, but the fact that the only real way you can, I guess, tell the fact that she's turned back time after she's turned it back is the fact that obviously her face looks more exhausted afterwards, which I guess makes sense, you know.
It takes a lot of her energy to even use her abilities. So we get that fight scene. We get back to that fight scene where fucking Yuki just demolishes her in one hit, and then she flashes back time. But they're really, really closely paying attention to her face at all times, and they're trying to adjust based off of what her face looks like to see, did she use her ability, did she not use her ability, does she look more tired, so they can adjust their strategy based off of that. It seems to be working out for them. Like, she takes her first hit, so the sister expects to see where it's coming from, and then they just redirect completely and take her off guard. The sister's sitting there like, is this a fluke or was this planned? Blah 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 blah. That whole villain monologue. I'm not going to call her a villain, but it's like the villain's internal monologue type of thing going on.
Yeah, some Sundere 101. She read the handbook, actually. I don't know if you've gotten
Yeah,
a copy of it.
I need to purchase my copy.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
lacking.
We'll get you one for your birthday. Um,
My,
but
my birthday's already passed though. I gotta wait a whole another year.
yeah, it's a real fucking shame.
Then I'm not gonna know anything about this girl until I get that handbook, guys. I'm sorry, I'm useless.
It's we all have our uses, and I guess that she's not your favorite anyways. You don't need to know anything about Yachiho, but
Fair
I
enough.
if I remember correctly too, while that's kind of happening, obviously Tenka and Sahara are kind of critiquing and quoting on the fight, and the fact that like um oh my gosh, Tenka's commenting on the fact that she just assumed that his loyalty is only for our main Biatch Uzin, but then she's like, I guess he's flexible. So like maybe
That's how a slave should be.
he's the perfect slave.
Yeah, no, it's more a Tenka thirsting after Yuki. Honestly.
Yeah, yeah, no, honestly, that's definitely what it is. Obviously I don't know. We'll find out in the future here. But yeah, I think Tenka's definitely gonna sink deep into Yuki eventually here.
Or Yuki's gonna sink deep into Tenka. Who knows?
Yeah, depending if you want to go with the actual, terminology because he has a peen. Um, you
She
know,
has a vagine.
she has a vagine, so if you want to get technical, he'd sink it into her, But I digress.
Yes. Yes. So during this whole battle, you see all this fighting going on. Uh, you notice they flash to Uzin though, which is very interesting because you kind of get to see how Uzin kind of is a very stoic character, but she still has tells that she cares about her on her face, and her face is almost completely emotionless. But while this whole battle is going on, you can see the excitement in the fact that while her arms are crossed, she actually grips one of her arms a little harder, which gives you a little more information on Uzin. It like leads you to believe that she cares about her team and she supports her team.
Right, and at the same time, she has enough
At least that's what
confidence
I
to
got
know.
from it.
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you can tell that she's confident enough to know that she thinks that Yuki and Himari are actually going to win this fight, considering how much training they've done. And granted,
Yeah.
I mean, this fight is, I mean, till the very end, extremely close. Like, it's not like
Uh,
somebody has like a huge advantage over it. Granted, I mean, obviously, with Yachiho's fucking OP power of, pausing time and rewinding it. Um, but the way Yuki and Himari actually came up with so many strategics to try to beat that just shows how much dedication was put into this fight, which obviously,
th-
with sibling rivalry, you have to do that.
this whole fight was phenomenal. I will say it like the, these it's better than most of the Shuki fights.
Oh, that's it's hard to. I mean, from what we've gotten, yes. What it kind of sucks to
Yes, from
say
what we've
is,
gotten so far. But
and it kind of sucks to say because we haven't really gotten many of you know the actual
yeah,
fights that you know, but I feel like this latter half of the season, since we're almost at the halfway point already,
yeah, we are crazily
which
enough.
right, but yeah, hopefully more come. But yeah, from what we've gotten so far, I definitely would say this is the best fight. And like,
Yeah, I would say it's a close tie between when you first get to see Oba
yeah,
because that was pretty nuts.
yeah. And if I remember correctly, do you remember the name of the move where she, in the middle of the fight, is able to pause time for 10 seconds instead now?
Prime time.
Prime
So we
time.
got golden
Yeah.
hour and prime time essentially doubles golden hour.
Yes, and that's when
So
she,
instead of
she
5 seconds, she gets 10.
and she pulls out that cheap move and she freaking comes up and shoots like a whole freaking clip right into both of them. Like,
Oh my god! And the way they got around this was so fucking cool. So Yuki transitions back into Yuki and not his Shuki form. Shuki Yuki. We don't got Shuki Yuki anymore. We got Yuki. But in his transformation, there's a flash of light and a puff of smoke and all that fun stuff.
he hits his
Oh my
face.
god. It's fucking, he just baits her and shot the fuck up.
Yeah, and then
And
oh,
oh,
yeah, and then the
the
fact,
fucking,
yeah, the fact that Himari is just on the ground looking up all James Bond and shoots her sister right in the fucking neck.
God, dude, that was so good, man. Like, fucking. So I read that, and that was phenomenal reading it. But seeing her face in that fucking moment, that downward shot of her with the fucking, I'm gonna call them expression lines because that's all I can think of.
No, that's a perfectly good way
So fucking good.
to describe it, in my opinion.
We did miss the point where they got actually hit by the bullets, though, because they did get hit earlier in the fight, and that's why they decided to go with this Hail Mary strategy.
Yeah, right, right. After
So
she does prime time. Yeah,
yeah,
she does
so she
that.
does prime time twice in this fight.
Yes, yep. And then like once they're all shot up and everything, the thing is like I know it gets covered like right after the fight, but like Actually, it's a hair after the fight once they're going over it. But even like, Tenka even points out later on how the fact that Yachiho could have had that fight, but she gave her sister a chance to actually, get up off the ground and recalculate herself. So, like,
They
you
have
know,
such a weird relationship.
yeah. It's
They
definitely
really do.
like I said, it's Sundre 101. She has this like bond with her sister where you can tell she actually really loves her, but like wants to
Doesn't know how to show it at all.
no, she doesn't know how to show the affection. So the way she shows affection is hazing her sister to try to make her sister tougher. But at the same time, it comes off so fucking convoluted that Himari just thinks that her sister's a cunt.
Yeah, so like part of the agreement was that fucking well, part of at least Yaochi's thoughts was like, I'm gonna beat my sister's ass and I'm gonna drag her back home and I'm gonna train her so hard and stuff like that. So, you get that sort of thought process from her. And then once she's finally defeated, you get this moment where Yaochi realizes like my sister's gained a lot of strength and stuff like that. So she actually gets up after they're all healed up and straight up like, actually, no, we got to cover the fact that Yuki got healed from pretty much being shot in the fucking chest.
It was that shield, man.
And
The shield.
he was the shield, and he's like literally leaning up on Hamuri, and it's like, you're alive now. You can stop fucking leaning on me. And he's like, I've just been conscious for like 30 seconds now. Give me a break.
Right? And like I did notice too that obviously I don't know her character very well yet, but it seems like not only obviously Uzen, but like it seems like Tenka is also a really good leader and like I guess what's
Yeah,
like seasoned because like even though they lost the match, she even says, like we'll take this as a learning curve, pretty much like a learning experience type of thing. And like that's pretty much the way to do it because like if she freaked out on her, obviously that wouldn't do any good. Which I mean, I've seen a lot of leaders do in anime and in real life. So I mean,
yeah.
because I don't know how old these girls are and how long they've been doing this shtick, but
I would have to imagine that they're right around probably second or third years in high school.
okay, that would make sense. And do you know specifically if they start in their early teen years, or do you think they maybe have only got a couple years under their
Well,
belts at this point?
so I'm not. I don't know anything about that, but the only
Okay.
reason why I'm guesstimating their ages is they, for the most part, besides, God, I can't remember her name right now, but little pink-haired girl, fucking
Nay.
Nay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nay. Aside from Nay, I think they're all supposed to be right around the same age as Yuki, and we see Yuki in a high school uniform, and a lot of these etchy animes place their high school students in,
Senior
I
year,
want to say
baby.
third year because it's 17 to 18 usually because they're skirting some fine lines there. But it's all just drawings, guys. Like, calm the fuck down. We haven't seen Nay's tits, and that's the one that you should be a little bit more worried about. But so
I don't think you're gonna see them because I think they're actually smart enough not to do that.
yeah, exactly. So you should be more worried about Lolita characters and not characters that are around 16, 17, 18 and look like they're fully fucking grown because it's not like they look like little kids.
Right. And then yeah,
So
I was gonna say we have to get to the reward.
well, first off, I want to cover the fact that Yaochi actually comes up to Hamuri, talks about how well she did, how strong she was, and actually asks her to come rejoin the family. So you kind of get to see the fact that like this was her whole goal all along, but now she's sort of gonna be nicer to her sister. You get to see a flashback too of like Hamuri had trained so hard that she actually made herself sick. and sort of how Yaoichi views her as just like this overachiever, all this other stuff, and it really paints more of a picture of their relationship as a whole when you get these two contrasts of her wanting to beat her ass and drag her back, and then like, well, all this hard work that she's done has like turned out to be good for her. She's become stronger,
Yeah,
and still get the same reaction of like, please come home and rejoin the family. But yeah, Yuki gets thirsty.
yeah, and
That's what he's getting at with the reward. And
yeah.
no, we know what you're thinking. She's gonna pee in his mouth. There's no water sports yet.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping we were gonna get
You
some.
were hoping for water sports.
I was like the moment where he's like, "I'm thirsty." I'm like, I know where this is going. I know where this is going. And like, I wasn't disappointed, but I was upset.
Honestly, I think this reward was done really well, but I do think that they need to pull that weird, I don't even know what you would call it, that weird filter sort of thing that they throw over this animation. They need to tone it back a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I could see where you're going with it. I know they're just trying to do it for the stunning what's the word, like, not the physique, but the tone,
Visuals,
the visual tone,
the
yeah,
tone, yeah.
because obviously it's supposed to
It
be
does
like
well with the
this
visual tone.
ooh type of moment, but like, yeah, it does get a little bit annoying and overburdening. um but
But so
the
they're
the
thirsty, so they go to the fridge.
yes, yes, and so she grabs a bottle of water and she obviously starts drinking it, and he's
And
about.
Yuki wants to grab a bottle of water
That's right, but she stops him. And why does she stop him?
because she's gonna baby bird some water into Yuki's mouth. And we're not talking like baby bird like she spits. This girl full on fucking like puts water in her mouth, walks up and just starts making out with him and fucking like,
Like, I thought
I'm imagining that's the noise you would hear.
yeah, like, it looked like she swallowed it, so maybe she like regurgitated it into his
So
mouth.
maybe she did really baby bird it.
Yeah, she swallowed it and gurged it out. And like, while that's going on, um, if I remember correctly, um, the other
Dude,
leader.
you're not even putting enough into this. Like,
Well, I
she's
don't,
fucking like licking his lips,
but
biting his lips and
but that
stuff like that. Like this is a hot ass fucking kiss going on.
But that comes on after
The other leader.
Tenka and fucking Yachiho are fucking talking about, like I said earlier in earlier in the review, but like how she's like, yeah, you kind of underestimated them. If this was real, you could have been dead. Like, what if Yuki fucking had this power where he could just fucking rip you in half in like 2 seconds, essentially.
Well, actually, they're saying that Yuki probably might have pulled his punch.
I mean, which he most likely did, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's an exhibition, But learning curves, and
And
never
this scene where
underestimate.
they're making out, yeah, you never underestimate. I mean, fucking look at Dragon Ball Z. Frieza underestimated the Saiyans, and the Saiyans fucking killed him multiple times.
And to be fair,
Um,
I think this is really, before we get into the in-depth kiss, I think this is really where it feels to me like Tenka's getting a real hard on for Yuki now.
yeah, I could see that.
And then, oh, I forgot, right before the kiss too, I'm remembering. Shushu's thirsty before her fight, so she's gonna go get
Yeah,
water as well. And when she's running to get water, this is where the whole, oh, the detail in this kiss scene.
it's so good, and it's not even the best part of the scene either.
No, like, she's legitimately like biting his lip, like, and then there's a little underskirt, but she's like biting his lip, and then, dude, her tongue. She
Licking his, oh my god, dude, she just goes ham. It's like she's eating out some good pussy.
yeah, dude,
Sorry, YouTube.
Sorry, children.
Sorry, chill. I love that guy.
Dude, yeah, dude. Shout out to fucking Uncle Roger.
Maybe he'll make us a nephew based off of our fried. We're gonna make a fried rice dish one of these
Oh,
times, and we're gonna become a nephew. That's what we're gonna do, guys. But
yeah.
that's way down the road. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, but yeah, like, and she's like legitimately like at the same time like almost like conflicting at the fact that she's like your classic, you know, giving him compliments, but at the same time she's like well it's the reward, but you deserve this at the
But
same time.
she's serious, but like the depth of it, dude. She's seriously having a heart to heart with this guy. Well, she's straight up fucking like licking his face, making out with him, biting his lip. You know, the fucking shit that would at least make you pop a semi if you're a straight male.
Oh, dude,
But
he's not he's has more than a semi.
but
His
like
his hair
I
spiked
thought
up.
this scene, like I'm okay, fair enough. But I thought this scene, like, it was a good scene. But the beauty behind the scene is as she's complimenting Yuki, Yuki reacts more to her compliments than he does the fan service. Like she's talking about how, I'm sorry I was so mean to you. You're the only reason I was able to beat my sister, blah 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 blah. And Yuki really really reacts to that aspect of it over the fact that he's having this, nice girl that he saw naked a few episodes ago.
Boys can
Make
be
out with him.
okay sometimes.
That line, dude, that was such a cheeseball line, but like at the
Yeah.
same time, like
Yeah. And then frickin' Shushu's like sitting around the corner, not grabbing her water, observing this. And she's just like,
that
oh,
that's what they meant by physically demanding.
that's like the most like fucking like John the Carpenter type of statement ever. Like your average 40-year-old Joe at your office job, just like. I mean, granted, that's not how she looked, but just the way the quote comes out, it's like,
I don't
oh,
know. I don't know. I could see her rubbing her hands together, being like,
and she does have kind of cuck vibes.
"Yep,
So yeah, that scene ends, and they're preparing for the next match, which obviously is Shushu, and it looks like to me that she's gonna face Sahara, and
yes."
they're they're asking her if she's ready for the fight, and she's like, "Yeah, I got this," and within like 10 seconds, the bitch is sleeping again.
And fucking Yaochi tries to wake her up like fucking violently, and fucking Tenka finally says like, Sarah, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm ready again. We'll awake all over again. Like we're definitely gonna find out more about Sahara in the next episode
Yeah,
and
because
why she's always asleep.
I was
But
gonna say, because I'm really curious for next week when we talk about it, what her powers are, because I got a feeling
oh
it's
dude,
it's probably
her
something
powers, man. Like
OP as fuck.
okay, let's just put it this way: it's almost like the counter for
But
Shushu.
oh, okay, okay. I think
Like,
I
I'm not gonna elaborate any further, but it's almost the perfect counter.
growth. So she's probably Elastigirl. Got
Not quite, but if she was, I'd probably be asking for her anime number.
her anime number, not
See,
her.
I've been with a few dancers, YouTube, and let me tell you about dancers. They can flex,
They can dance.
and they can flex. But so big part of this episode, it kind of sort of pans off after all this, and we see this shadow in the background, and we see what look like, I think it's 4 more
It's
humanoid Shuki.
I think it's 3. You got
Was it
Omega.
3?
Oh,
I thought it was 4.
it might be 4, but I remember
Omega
seeing
Shenron.
Omega Shenron,
Were you?
uh, a harpy, and a loli.
At least those. I, I
Yeah.
I could be mistaken, but I thought it was 4. It could be 3. But what he says sounds about right because I can see Omega Shenron, a loli, and a harpy all together, but it has nothing to do with the episode.
But
I just could see them together.
yeah, you just put all three together and it's like the same people we just saw in the lineup.
I know, and they look ominous as fuck. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. And so I'm not gonna spoil anything, but from my understanding, we should have about one more tournament fight, and then things get exciting.
Oh, that makes me
Yep.
happy. I feel
Yep.
I feel like these two episodes obviously gave us a lot of bonding growth, and then we also got a lot of like sibling growth, and then we got like, just the whole squadron and seeing their like attachments to each other and their like just faith in each other, if that makes
So
sense.
I say for like the first 2 episodes at least, we kind of just get introduced to the cast, and right now we're in the point where we're character building.
Yep. And
We're seeing the relationships between everyone, and yeah, building the lore, so to speak.
I know, and some people hate that shit because they just want action or etchy, but you need it. You need that nice middle ground to learn about the characters, and it's a
So
real.
like a perfect example.
I was
Oh,
gonna
real
say
shame.
it's a real shame. It's only gonna be 12 episodes, but
We'll probably get 12 more after that.
I hope so.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing because I don't think they're gonna cover everything within those 12 episodes. Because I'm trying to think. I think everything that's out right now could probably be covered within those 12 episodes, but I feel like where I'm at, they're gonna cliffhanger it and start a second season.
I hope so because the way this has been going so far, I feel like it definitely has potential to be.
And they just keep getting better too. Like one of the things I've talked about on this channel a few times is eyes in anime. There was one shot particularly that I remember. I can't remember whose eyes that they zoomed in on, but the eyes were even better in this episode. It's weird to think about because
It's
we got the pilot,
yep.
which would be that first episode, which had shittier animation. Second episode had slightly better animation, and I think we're just getting better and better and better. I think that the fans of the series are coming in full force, and they're finally starting to throw a little more money at this project.
Money, 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 money.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, money in manga sales, man.
And speaking of character growth, so a lot of people just want the action
Yeah,
without the character growth.
that's
But look at what
correct.
happened, and me and you have talked about this in our little private DMs because we DM each other. I'm sliding into his DMs, and yeah.
He's not
But
wrong.
so we've talked about this with Darling in the Franxx actually, because the first half of the series is awesome. You get character development between the main 2 characters, but it feels like the latter half of the season is rushed as fuck, and you don't get any character development, and then all of a sudden these characters are who they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It
No.
does not work.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a good story.
They're floating in astral space for like a generation, like a whole generational gap, and everybody's living their
Yeah.
lives and just having kids, and then okay, yep, they bonded and made a fucking tree, and then
I know we're doing the whole chain soldier, but I'm gonna say it. I think Darling in the Franxx would have been better if it was stretched out a little longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. or
Like
or at
2 seasons, develop all the characters, cut the whole space bullshit. You would have had a great series. But right now you're sitting at like a 6 or a 7. You could have been an 8 or a 9
Yep.
easily.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And hopefully this gets picked up because I don't want it to end like that.
No, no, I don't either. I mean, I loved the actual ending itself,
Yeah,
where they met back up in reincarnation.
a little
But
cheesy, but
like,
yeah,
it was easy. But we also don't need fucking Space My Little Pony.
you're not
We
wrong.
just don't.
You're not
We
wrong.
don't need the aliens. Like let whole reimagining of this series. Who was the studio that did this?
Oh, the one, Chain Soldier,
Yeah,
or
no, not Chain Soldier. Fucking Darling.
oh, Darling in the Franxx. I'm trying to remember. It was a dual studio, project actually, which makes it even worse because A, it was an original source, and then B, it was two studios. So like in reality, they had no like limitations to freaking base anything off of, and they still screwed
Okay,
it
so
up.
let's say a few things. Let's say a few things. Okay, pull your animes from manga
Okay,
because those
okay,
seem to
okay.
be the best ones.
Before you do that, it was three studios. That's my bad. It was A1, Trigger, and Cloverworks, which all three of those studios
Trigger,
have a good track record, and they still,
Trigger.
yeah.
I- I'm disappointed in you, Trigger, because you made that Cyberpunk series. What was it, Edge Runners?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think you've watched it,
God, no, I never will.
dude. You have to watch it in 12 episodes. They do so fucking much. Like,
I don't care.
watch it. Just
I don't
watch it.
care.
Just
No,
watch it.
no.
Just watch it. You will love Lucy, and you will hate Lucy at the
You,
same time.
you can't make me.
You know what? You're gonna come over to my house, and I'm gonna make you watch it. It's 12 episodes, dude. We'll just sit for a day and watch it. But Trigger, A1, and whatever that other studio was that he just mentioned, he's gonna mention it again for me.
Cloverworks.
Cloverworks. Get your fucking shit together. Reanimate Darling of the Franks. Delete the whole latter half of the first season.
I,
And just
bel
reimagine it for us.
I believe we call
Just
that
do it.
a reboot.
Reboot it. Reboot it for us. Get rid of the fucking aliens, because no one needs the aliens.
No.
And make us a good series. Make us a
Yeah.
good series. And add more etchy. Because I'm the itchy man.
Dude, but the whole show is an innuendo for sex. How
Yes,
much
but I just wanna see Zero Two's titties more like.
you don't want to see her drawing stupid pictures of Ichigo?
I don't. I wanna see
That is
more
like
Zero Two titties.
not to dilute even further. We'll wrap this up here quick for everybody, but like that was my favorite thing was all the memes from Darling in the Franks. The memes were better than the show.
I don't think I ever delved into memes, but yeah, we'll wrap this up for you. So, what do you think you'd give this episode based off of what we've seen these last 2 episodes?
For a combined score, because I think they're pretty equal, I'd say probably I'd say a solid 7.
I think we're still rocking at a 7. So, like, so far we've got like I think the first 2 episodes were at about a 6,
Yep.
and then the last 3 episodes were at about a 7. So, you guys are improving. Like, if you're actually gonna listen to this, guys, you guys are improving.
And I recommend that they do.
I recommend that you do too, because I mean, like with what's coming up, like we could if they animate it right, dude, and they take the proper parts of the story, we could be reaching like a 7.58. Like
I know.
honestly,
And you know what? If you know if you guys have anything to say about that, you should leave a comment down below and we can delve into some discussion because I am always down for talking to you guys because it's always a good time. And half the time, the manga readers school me. So it works out great.
And I'm gonna do a first that I've heard on this, at least since I've been on there. If you've made it this far in the episode, say, what was it in my notes earlier? Coochie on face.
Yes, please,
What I want you to comment
please say
if you
coochie
made
on
it this
face.
far. All right, good night, guys.
Yes, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and hit that subscribe button. This has been Squids.
And the
And
itchy etchy man.
yes, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.